During the 1930 New York World's Fair, a striking scene captured the attention of visitors: a Hopi woman, accompanied by her twin babies. On this occasion, the Hopi woman, dressed in traditional attire from her culture, was carrying her twins. At the end of the 19th century, a notable figure known as Rattlesnake Pete emerged on the 𝗢𝗎𝗱 Indian Reservation, located in Oregon. The reservation, during the late 1800s, was a place where ancestral traditions coexisted with the changes brought about by increasing contact with American settlers. In 1885, a remarkable photograph was captured by photographer Ben Wittig, portraying Sergeant Jim, an Apache scout from the White Mountain region. This image is significant as it represents an important figure within the Apache community during a turbulent period in American West history. In 1900, in New Mexico, an everyday aspect of life for many Native American women involved the sale of pottery, an activity that reflected both their artisanal skills and the economic and cultural significance of these objects. These women, belonging to different tribes in the region, dedicated themselves to creating pottery using techniques passed down through generations. Around 1930, in New Mexico, a vibrant scene of Navajo cultural life was captured: Navajo riders participating in a traditional game. This event, held outdoors in the expansive open spaces characteristic of the New Mexico landscape, featured participants mounted on horses, an essential part of Navajo culture. In the early 1900s, a prominent figure in the history of Native American peoples was Geronimo, a leader of the Apache tribe. During this period, Geronimo was already recognized for his fierce resistance and leadership during prolonged conflicts with the United States and Mexican military forces. His defiant stance and warrior leadership skills made him a symbol of indigenous resistance. In 1925, in the city of Santa Fe, located in the state of New Mexico, a remarkable musical event took place. The protagonist of this event was a singer of Cherokee descent, whose performance stood out notably. The event was named Feast and represented a moment of celebration and cultural expression. In 1900, a remarkable photograph was captured by Carl Wertens, a photographer renowned for his work documenting Native American cultures. The portrait is of Chief 𝗢𝗍𝒄𝒽's daughter, a respected leader of the White River Apache tribe located in Arizona. In the image, the chief's daughter is portrayed in a way that highlights her importance and cultural heritage within the tribe. In 1890, in the state of Montana, an important figure within the Northern Cheyenne community was documented. Eddie Gray, the son of White Elk, represented a significant link to the heritage and traditions of his people. During this period, the Northern Cheyenne faced numerous challenges, especially in maintaining their culture and land in the face of westward expansion in the United States. In 1899, a remarkable photograph was captured by F.A. Reinhardt, a photographer whose work often focused on Native American peoples. The subject was Good Eagle, also known by his Lakota name, 𝗢𝗏𝗡. He was a member of the Oglala Lakota tribe, one of the 7 sub-tribes of the Lakota, located on the plains of what is now known as the United States. Joseph White Bull was a warrior and chief of the Dakota, a Native American people of North America. He was the nephew of Sitting Bull, a famous leader of the Lakota, another tribe related to the Dakota. Joseph White Bull participated in the Battle of Little Bighorn in 1876, where he claimed to have killed Colonel George Custer, a U.S. Army officer. He lived until 1947, passing away at the age of 98. Chief Two Sticks, also known as 𝗀𝗏𝗄𝗎, was a leader of the Lakota, a Native American people of the Great Plains of North America. He was one of the chiefs of the 𝗀𝗍𝒻𝒃, or the 7 Council Fires, a confederation of Sioux tribes. He earned his Lakota name 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝒏, which means knocks 2 down, in a battle against the UTEs when he knocked down 2 of their horses with a single blow from his war club. Last Horse was a warrior and leader of the Oglala Sioux tribe, who lived on the northern plains of the United States. In 1899, he was one of the last Native Americans to surrender to the U.S. Army after resisting the invasion of white settlers for years. He was taken to a Native American reservation, where he passed away in 1909. The photo depicts a Cherokee Nation woman who is part of the indigenous peoples native to North America. She is holding a baby in her arms, who could be her son or daughter. They are in Oklahoma, a state in the United States that was the destination for many Native Americans removed from their ancestral lands. The image was taken in the 1920s, a period of social and cultural changes for Native Americans. The photo portrays an indigenous man who had several names: Dr. Whirlwind, Charlie Saplish, and 𝗙𝗵𝗀. He was a member of the 𝗢𝗹𝗱 tribe, which was part of the Confederated Tribes of the 𝗢𝗵𝗱. He lived on the 𝗢𝗵𝗱 Reservation in the state of Oregon, USA. The photo was taken by Lee Morehouse, a photographer who documented the life and culture of Native American peoples in the early 20th century. The photo shows Mrs. 𝗢𝗱𝗱, an indigenous woman who was known for her role as an interpreter among the Sioux, a Native American people who inhabited the northern plains of the United States. She was from the Lakota tribe, one of the subdivisions of the Sioux. The photo was taken in 1891, when the Sioux had already been forced to live on Native American reservations by the U.S. government. A woman from the Blackfoot tribe, dressed in a fur coat and a felt hat, holds a child in her arms. The child, also wearing fur clothing, gazes at the camera with curiosity. The photo was taken around the late 1880s by American photographer Ross Alexander, who specialized in portraits of Native Americans. Nettie Morris, a young woman from the Nez Perce tribe, poses for a photo near her home in Lapwai, Idaho, in the year 1900. She wears a long, light-colored dress with embroidery and fringes, along with a beaded necklace. Her hair is tied in 2 braids that cascade over her shoulders. Her face exudes serenity and confidence. She belongs to a people living in the Pacific Northwest region, descendants of the ancient Cordilleran culture. Chief Anatlas, Anyalahash, an indigenous leader of the Tlingit tribe from the Pacific Northwest coast, appears in a historic photo taken in 1910. He is wearing a Chilkat blanket, a traditional weaving made from mountain goat wool and yellow cedar bark, displaying geometric patterns and representations of sacred animals. The blanket is a symbol of prestige and authority, worn during ceremonies and dances. Duncan MacDonald, a leader and historian of the Flathead tribe, poses for a photo with his wife, Mary Agnes MacDonald, at their home in Raleigh, Montana, around 1901. The photo was taken by photographer N.A. Forsyth, who documented the life and culture of Montana's indigenous peoples in the early 20th century. Duncan MacDonald was the son of a Scottish fur trader and a Flathead woman, and became an advocate for the rights and history of his people. 2 Apache women pose for a photo in front of a wickiup, an indigenous dwelling made of curved branches and covered with leaves or hides. The wickiup is located in an arid region of Arizona, likely near a water source. The photo was taken in 1880 by photographer Noah H. Rose, who dedicated himself to documenting the life and culture of Native American peoples in the American West, a gesture of goodwill between a white man and a Cheyenne tribe member who lived on the American Western Plains in the late 19th century. This handshake may depict a scene from the end of the American Civil War, which occurred between 1861 and 1865. During this time, Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes lived on the Western Plains and were allies of the Sioux. They fought against white soldiers who sought to take their land and exterminate the buffalo. A young indigenous Apache girl, living in the arid regions of the southwestern United States, balances a woven straw container called an ola on her head. The ola is used to store water collected from rivers or wells. The photo was taken in 1916 by photographer H.C. Tibbetts, who documented various aspects of Apache culture and daily life. A team of men working on the measurement and mapping of land in the American West, using an A-frame wooden structure called a travois to transport their equipment and supplies. The photo was taken in 1873 by photographer William Henry Jackson, renowned for his images of the Yellowstone region and his participation in various geological and geographical expeditions for the U.S. government. A studio portrait of 𝗢𝗱𝗪 Whitehorse, a Pawnee tribe member who served as a guide and ally to the U.S. Army in the war against other indigenous tribes of the American West. The photo was taken in 1870, about 2 years after Whitehorse participated in Hayden's expedition, which explored the Yellowstone region. The photographer was William Henry Jackson, a Civil War veteran who was among the first to document the landscapes and peoples of the West. 𝗙𝗵𝗱 was a Native American belonging to the 𝗢𝗵𝗱 tribe, one of the most powerful and influential tribes in U.S. history. He lived in Oklahoma, a state located in the central southern region of the country, originally reserved for indigenous tribes. 𝗙𝗵𝗱 was born in 1911, but the date of his death is unknown. Modisi was a young girl belonging to the Hopi tribe. an indigenous people inhabiting the villages of 𝗢𝗱𝗱 in the state of Arizona, USA. She was photographed by John Hillers, an explorer and photographer working for the U.S. government, in 1879. The photo depicts 𝗢𝗱𝗱 sitting with her hands in her lap, wearing traditional clothing from her culture, with a background featuring geometric designs. The photo is one of many Hillers took of the Hopi, documenting their way of life and architecture. Geronimo was a leader of the Apache tribe, which resisted U.S. colonization. In 1905, he was photographed by Edward S. Curtis, a renowned photographer dedicated to documenting Native American peoples. The photo shows Geronimo with a serious expression, wearing a hat and a bandana, and holding a rifle. The photo is part of the collection The North American Indian, which includes over 40,000 images by Curtis.